Silver Firefighter Festival. After helping Henry, I made it back to my apartment. Now I can compare the handwriting on the grocery list Henry had given us to the handwriting on the note left on my apartment door. His handwriting did not match, so I still wonder who could have left the envelopes on my door with the 2 free dinners at Aunt Maggie's diner. Maybe someday I'll figure it out. Things were quiet for the next couple of weeks at the Silver Herald, except for an occasional fender bender or covering a story on a lost dog or cat. Mandy stayed busy with her column, Mandy's Mutterings. The town's biggest event of the year begins tomorrow, the Silver Firefighters Festival. After arriving at work at the Silver Herald, I decided to ask Mandy what to expect. "There will be so many fun activities and events," Mandy responded. "An informational tent will be set up to educate citizens regarding fire prevention and what actions to take in case of a fire. Free home smoke alarms will be provided. The informational tent will also display photos of actual fire runs. As the town's photographer, Randy, you may be called at a moment's notice along with the fire department," said Mandy. "I never thought about that," I responded. "Just don't get too close," Mandy continued. "Oh, don't worry, I won't," I replied. "The firefighters will be handing out junior firefighter badges to the kids," said Mandy. "And there will also be a collaring table for the kids," Mandy added. "Rescue Roscoe will also be at the tent. He is our beloved Silver Fire Department Dalmatian mascot. They usually display some historic firefighter equipment, comparing it with more modern equipment," said Mandy. "They will also have a demonstration of how they put on their fire suit," Mandy added. "Citizens are also encouraged to try it on," she continued. "Besides the informational tent, there will be a ladder climbing contest," said Mandy. 2 tall ladders will be set up attached to a wall. "The participants will race each other to the top," Mandy said. "Won't that be a little dangerous?" I responded. "Oh, no, not at all," replied Mandy. "Each person will have a harness," Mandy added. "A bungee cord will be attached using a secure metal clip," Mandy continued. "The bungee attaches to the top of the building," said Mandy. "In fact, most participants will just jump backwards or turn around and bungee jump from the top," said Mandy. "They lower each person to the ground after they have bounced up and down a few times," Mandy added. "Sounds like so much fun," I responded. "It certainly is," replied Mandy. "There will be a firefighter dunk tank," said Mandy. "A pedal car fire truck race for the kids," she added. "There'll be a fire truck water distance spraying contest with real fire trucks," Mandy added. "What is that?" I asked. "Oh, that's where all 6 fire trucks line up at the end zone of our football field," said Mandy. "Each truck gets to shoot water for 10 seconds to see how many yards they can spray. They draw numbers to see who will go from first to last. The fire truck that sprays the furthest wins a cool trophy," Mandy added. "At the end, just for fun, all the fire trucks will shoot water at the same time, as far as they can go," said Mandy. "If the weather permits, people can wear their bathing suits and go out on the field under the water," she added. "Won't that make a muddy mess?" I asked. "It sure does," replied Mandy. "However, that is part of the fun, playing and sliding in the mud," said Mandy. "There will be plenty of vendors set up with food and games," said Mandy. "We will have a cake decorating contest," Mandy added. "After the winner is announced, the cakes are auctioned off," she said. "The funds will be split between each town's fire station," Mandy added. "The winning cake last year was auctioned off for $1,200, said Mandy. "Wow," I responded. "How much was brought in overall?" I asked. "A little over $3,000, replied Mandy. "That is fantastic," I responded. "We closed the event Saturday evening with a fire truck judging contest," said Mandy. "All 6 towns will line up their fire trucks to be judged," Mandy added. "What is the judge looking for?" I asked. "They are looking for cleanliness, proper equipment, and the best-sounding sirens," she said. "They have a raffle for the kids," said Mandy. 6 kids' names will be drawn to sound the fire siren," Mandy added. You have provided me with a lot of information, I told Mandy. I appreciate that very much, I said. You're welcome, Mandy responded. We need to get a good night's sleep, said Mandy. We will be super busy the next couple of days with me covering stories and you taking pictures, Mandy added. It is going to be a blast, said Mandy. Like a fire truck water blast, I asked. Yep, just like that, Mandy replied. Mandy and I started early. Friday morning, Mandy interviewed people at the festival, including the firefighters. I took photos of her doing the interviews, along with all of the other events and activities. After a long, fun-filled Friday, I headed back to my apartment to rest for the final day. Saturday came quickly. Mandy continued to do her reporting, and I continued taking photos. When evening came, it was time to close out the festival with the fire truck judging contest. Everyone gathered round, but something was missing. Jake's fire truck! There was a loud gasp from the crowd. Unknown to everyone, the other 5 firefighters in the contest had devised a plan to play a trick on Jake. While everyone was at the pie judging contest, they grabbed Jake's keys to his fire truck from inside the station. They drove Jake's fire truck 20 minutes to the West Hill Fire Department. Each fire department represented had a second fire truck in case of an emergency back in their hometown. The firefighters pulling the prank thought they had their bases covered. They would call Will at the West Hill Fire Department, and he would drive Jake's fire truck back just in time for the judging. Jake walked straight over to the 5 firefighters in the contest. They were having a difficult time keeping a straight face. "What's up, you guys?" Jake asked sternly. "We have no idea what you're talking about, Jake," they replied. "Come on, guys. This isn't funny," Jake told them. "I worked hard to have my fire engine in mint condition." "We know," one of the firefighters responded. "We figured one of us stood a chance of winning if your truck was not in the contest," another firefighter added. "We are just playing with you, Jake. We will have it right back before the judging begins." "You had better," Jake replied. "And in the same condition you took it," Jake added. "No worries," they told Jake. "All we have to do is call Will back at West Hill Fire Department, where your engine is parked, and he'll bring it right back." "All right," replied Jake. Just then the judge walked up to the podium, tapped on the microphone, and said, "Fire truck judging begins in 30 minutes. Fire truck judging begins in 30 minutes. "See, Jake, we have plenty of time." Jake pointed at them and said, "Call Will now, or you guys will be writing out your own will." All right, they responded. Joe was the name of the firefighter from West Hill designated to call Will. Joe gave Will a call. Oddly, there was no answer. So Joe left a message. "Hey, Will, this is Joe. Go ahead and bring Jake's fire truck back to the festival for judging." All 5 firefighters were a little concerned that Will didn't answer. However, they felt sure that he got Joe's message. Now they just had to sit tight and wait for Will to arrive. "When Jake's fire truck shows up, I bet the crowd will let out a big cheer," one of the 5 firemen said. The others agreed. "It will be a wonderful moment," Joe added. 10 minutes passed. 15 minutes passed. Then 20 minutes had gone by. The 5 pranking firefighters were extremely worried at this point, especially when they saw Jake walking back over to them. "We are dead meat," one of the firemen said. "Guys, where's my fire truck?" asked Jake. Jake had no sooner got the words out of his mouth when Joe received a call. "It's Will on the phone right now," Joe said. "Where are you, Will?" asked Joe. "I'm less than 10 minutes away," Will responded. Joe immediately hung up with Will. "Yes," Joe said. "Will is less than 10 minutes away," he added. "All right," replied Jake, as he went back to his chair to wait for his fire truck to arrive. Joe walked over to the judge and told him about the prank and told him Joe's fire truck will be here shortly. The judge walked over to the podium, tapped on the microphone, and announced, "One more fire truck will be here shortly to enter the contest. One more fire truck will be here shortly to enter the contest. Everyone from Silver cheered. With about 5 minutes to spare, everyone saw Jake's fire truck coming from a distance. The crowd let out another cheer. As Jake's fire truck got closer, the cheers from the crowd turned into another loud gasp. Jake's fire truck was covered in mud and soot. Jake's fire truck was no longer in mint condition. The 5 firefighters looked over at Jake. Jake was looking at his fire truck in total disbelief. Will walked over to Joe and the other 4 firemen. "What in the world happened?" they asked Will. "We had a 2-alarm fire back home, guys. We had to use Jake's fire truck, and it was a good thing it was there," Will added. "Jake's truck had special equipment that was not available on our fire truck. A 2-story home caught fire, and we were able to rescue everyone inside, including the family's pets," said Will. "Unfortunately, the family lost everything in the fire," Will added. "The family's response, however, was amazing," said Will. "They told me that everything they owned was replaceable, but their lives were not. They were so thankful." "That is wonderful," said the 5 firefighters. "It sure puts things into perspective," Will told them. "It sure does," they responded. "Hey, I have an idea," said Joe. "Follow me," he told the other firefighters. Joe walked the men over to the judge while everyone kept waiting to see what was going to happen. "Hey, Judge," said Joe. "Yes, sir," the judge replied. "This firefighter's name is Will. He is the one who brought Jake's fire truck back to the festival," Joe added. "Will's going to tell you what happened to Jake's fire truck," said Joe. "I would love to hear that story," the judge responded. Will told the judge about the 2-alarm fire back home. Will told him about how Jake's fire truck was used to save the family. They asked the judge if they could have extra time to clean up Jake's fire truck. "I'm sorry, guys. We have to stay on schedule," the judge responded. "Just line it up with the other 5 fire trucks, just the way it is," the judge added. The firefighters put their heads down. "Go ahead and park it," Joe told Will. All 6 fire trucks were now lined up in a row. The judge walked over to the podium, tapped on the microphone, and announced, "The fire truck judging contest begins now. The fire truck judging contest begins now." The judge walked up and carefully examined all 6 fire trucks. He took the same amount of time looking over each truck. The judge walked back over to the podium, picked up a large blue ribbon, and held it up for everyone to see. The judge grabbed the microphone again and walked over to the fire trucks. He raised the blue ribbon in the air and announced, "And the winner is Silver Fire Department," as he walked over to Jake to hand him the blue ribbon. Jake couldn't believe it. "How could I win?" Jake asked the judge. The crowd could hear every word from the microphone. A few boos were coming from the crowd. Someone shouted out, "This contest was fixed." "Simmer down now," the judge said, "and I'll tell you a story." He proceeded to tell the crowd about the 5 firefighters who were pulling the prank on Jake. He told them about the 2-alarm fire in the nearby town of West Hill, where Jake's fire truck was parked. He told them about how without Jake's fire truck, they may not have been able to save the family from the fire. So first prize is honorably given to Silver Fire Department's fire truck by Jake, the judge said. Everyone in the crowd stood up, clapped, and cheered. Someone in the crowd yelled out, "Way to go, Jake and West Hill Fire Department!" Everyone clapped and cheered even louder. Quite a few people were crying. It was a very emotional time for everyone. Jake walked over with the other 5 firefighters. They all locked arms and stood before the crowd. The judge walked over and said to the crowd, "Give these men a hand for protecting our communities and our lives." I walked over to Mandy after the judging contest. Both of us had tears in our eyes. "What an amazing way to end the festival," I told Mandy. "It certainly was," she responded. "We will have to work late tonight to get everything together for the paper tomorrow," Mandy said. "Are you all right with that?" Mandy asked. "Absolutely," I responded, "however long it takes."